Hello, Emma.
Hello, hello.
So nice to see you.
It's so good to see you too. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's amazing to be here at the French Center.
Actually, can I join? I really want to join this one. Is it okay if I sit here and like...
Yeah, of
Welcome.
course. We
Welcome,
love it.
Paola.
Thank you.
Yes, we have the chance to have our YouTube master with us tonight. What a privilege.
Oh my God, that's me? Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's you? Yes.
So,
You can have your own.
oh, thank you. No, but I hijacked your podcast. You better explain what you were here to talk about, and I'll tag along.
Nice. I thought it'd be, as we're 3 women in the Wim Hof Method, and actually we figured out that we're all different decades in ages. Not perhaps when we started, but we certainly are in this moment in time. So it would be really nice to share Wim Hof Method women from our perspective and how we are practicing the method as a woman in her 40s.
In my 50s.
In my 30s.
Yeah, and just to see how it's changed, if it has any, and, you know, and yeah, I don't know if you guys want to add anything to that.
No, I think it's the perfect time to talk about that because a lot of women ask if the Wim Hof Method is good for women. And I think we are all 3 here with a big smile. So I think it's the real good time to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe a little bit of background. So I introduced myself. My name is Emma Estrella. I've been doing the Wim Hof Method since 2015. I went to Wim's Travel in 2016 and became an instructor in 2017. So it's kind of like 10 years. So when I started, I was in my 30s, and now I'm my mid 40s. So yeah, I guess in a nutshell for me, when I started the method, I kind of trained like everyone else. Like I was very much, had this new awareness for my body and a deeper connection from a spiritual point of view. The fact that I wasn't spiritual when I started, I was very much in the rational head and very corporate. And then when I started, I became a lot more aware of the yin and yang energy, especially the yin energy and awareness. And then and I went into the water every day. I did a cold exposure every day, and I did breathing probably minimum 3 times a week, if not daily, if not twice a day, if I didn't feel so well. So I was very much, an active practitioner, we could say, for a few years. And then COVID hit, and then I became suddenly aware of my womb. And I was like, whoa, I don't need to do cold every day, especially when I'm on my cycle, because before then it didn't matter. But during COVID, I had this kind of profound shift of slowing down and then appreciating that I had this beautiful womb that I still was disconnected from. And I really honored the moon cycle, and I really honored how I was during each cycle. And I looked into it a lot more, and yeah, that really opened my eyes. I've had such a huge journey in that. So, and now, fast forward to where I am now, I honor the cycle and I appreciate that and the awareness that, and it comes a lot into my practice. What about you guys?
Okay, let's go with me. So I'm Stacha, and I discovered the cold practice 5 years ago, then the Wim Hof Method 3 years ago. Since 5 years, every day I take a cold shower, and then 2 years ago I said, okay, I want to become an instructor too, because I really want to spread this message to all people I knew, especially the women, because it helps me really a lot. And I don't know if you already follow me in the YouTube channel, but I made a special video on menopause, and really for me, it was a game changer. No symptom at all, and what Emma just told before, I really appreciate to listen to my body, to go in my daily life, not forcing, but what I need, and just following my inner voice here. And I think it's really, really important in the days we are living now, in this foolish society when everything goes fast, fast, fast. Taking time to listen what is inside is really, really important. So that's why I'm here with you guys to share this.
Thank you so much. I feel honored to be between these two ladies. Like, what? Thank you so much for letting me crash this episode. It's funny because you started like at my age. It's kind of like I'm looking at a maybe future self. So it's really inspiring. And also, Stacha's story is also inspiring. Like when I heard the menopause episode, I was like, now I'm looking forward to be my menopause. And she was like, oh, you're still a long way there, hold your holsters, lady. But for me, my background, I started cold showers long time ago. You've heard that story in another episode. I was dealing with depression and panic attacks. Boom, gone. And for me, it was such a deep experience. Like, how was this so effective that I went like, why did this work? And that's how I found the Wim Hof Method. And then I went like for the rest of it, like the breathing. Then now that we have this amazing new protocol of the mindset and everything, and I see life as an ice bath, and I love everything all the time. It's like a nice bath, like a nice bath. And the value it's given my life, it's beyond this world. And yeah, that's why I'm also here to share it, like from the soul.
Love it.
Yes, I love it too. You are really inspiring, and I think it's really nice to have these 3 different ages. So I hope we will inspire a lot of women to go and to dive deep into this method.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the takeaway for me over the years is that I think I kind of become more aware of my body, because as you deepen in the practice, actually it's really about the yin energy. It's about doing everything with awareness. So awareness and intention is slightly different. And especially now in the last year, we have a really transferable and a really relatable mindset protocol, which has been introduced by a new academy manager. And it's really beautiful because it helps translate it a little bit more to the core and to help you kind of recognize, as you touched on, that your body is your beautiful ally and it's been there your whole life. And the mind kind of sabotages it, or the experiences, or reflections of others, and we forget about our greatest gift, which is the body and the tool and the body's intelligence. And actually, you go deeper for us, because the womb wisdom is something that is untouched, and people have been scared of over the last years and decades and stuff like that. But actually, it's a really beautiful mystery, and it's nice to occasionally tap into that and have that as a relationship from the breath point of view and from a cold point of view.
Yes, you're absolutely true, because we are afraid of this feminine power. So we need to go back to this power and really to inspire other women to go deep and to radiate this yin energy. We need both yin, yang, but to go back to this energy, it's really, really important.
Yeah, so you're sort of saying on a collective, the yin energy, because I always say wisdom and power. And recently we've been a little bit more in the power. And power is no good without wisdom. And wisdom is no good without power, right? So I love how you frame that.
Yeah, and also connecting, I think the Wim Hof Method is a lot of connecting to your intuition. And I loved how you said it, feminine, and like our feminine sides as women, even though we're women, it's like most of us are, well, I can say that I'm more connected with that lately because of the Wim Hof Method, but most of women are usually not in that, like it's such a powerful, as you mentioned too, like such a powerful, it's intuition. And what I love about the Wim Hof Method is either you're a woman or a man, it's like tapping into that intuition, and for us women that we've been like a lot in this world invited to that masculine part, it's bringing us back to that energy side. So on this note, I would like to ask you, like, as a woman, what's the most powerful thing that the Wim Hof method, like, has given you? For me, it's this.
I think for me too, to go back to myself, to take my responsibility over my body, and just to respect my body, and not being in that world just doing. I said, no, now stop. It's time for yourself, and then after you can do. But first, go inside and look what is good for you, and take time.
Yeah, I think it has a lot of layers in your in your question there. I mirror what you guys say, or I echo what you say, and yeah, it's a sense of belonging. And actually, it was the Wim Hof method that allowed me to find my feminine energy, because I think I was living in a masculine way, just keeping up with the collective energy of the world. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying it's either good or bad, but I had adapted to go to the social conditioning of going to the pub, keeping up with the pints, living in a man's world. I had a very masculine job. You know, I was a tradesman, and then I was also in the forces, so, you know, in the military. So it was very much bam, 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 and I kind of like had this neglect. And it took the Wim Hof method, it was, you know, Wim Hof, who's a man, you know, to find the feminine energy. Because to stay in the water, you have to connect with the feminine energy, which is to surrender and to let go and just be and embrace, you know. And the breath work is not about the force, as you said, it's about the connection. So in order to maintain the Wim Hof method for so long, you have to tap into the feminine energy.
Yes, even if we look at the advertising, sometimes from Wim, we saw men, strong men, but it's absolutely not the case. So we are really here to show that also women can be in this method and to have a lot of advantage of this method.
What would you say are disadvantages specifically for women, for example? Like, if there's women listening to us right now, like, and are maybe doubting, like, what could we give them?
For me, it's the connection with the body, and to be able to stay in this masculine world, to take the real place, the real and right place of the women, which is really important. This feminine energy is really important. So go back to this energy. For me, it is really, I think, the most advantage we can have from this method. And also, you talk about the mindset protocol, which is a game changer. And just to say, okay, I recognize that I am the queen and I can do what my body wants to do. Without fear, just trust and have faith.
Yeah. So you said about the negatives or the disadvantages or something of being a woman.
No, like, the advantages of, like, as Stacha said, like, especially women advantages. What are those, you know, like, from your point of view?
Yeah, what are the advantages? So I think from a physical point of view, it can connect you back to your cycle. And it's a real personal journey, whether you choose to go in the cold on your cycle, because it could help with cramps, can lessen that. Or you can choose to stay out because you want to honor the feminine cycle as well. So I think the advantage to that is that there is no pressure, there's no right or wrong, and there's no comparison. And having that as your new way, which really isn't the social conditioning, you know, with competition, scarcity, and fear of missing out, that I think that it brought that back to a center that actually I'm enough, regardless if I choose to go into the water or I'm not going in the water. From a mental point of view, it's just has expanded my mind from a limiting belief and from bringing awareness to social patterns and conditioning and my own voice in my head, to choosing whether to listen to it or to not to listen to it, where it's coming from a place of fear or coming from a place of expansion. And from a spiritual point of view, it's about, as you said, the king and queen in all of us, and being the empress and having that kind of. So the masculine energy is like we know how to do it. Males know how, but the feminine energy is knowing when. You know, and it's really kind of staying in that power. Yeah.
For me, it's a lot about, I talked before about this mental side. No, I forgot what I was going to say. Wait. No. We were talking
You will find it again.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's
Brain
okay.
freeze, menopause.
Yes.
Yes, I remembered. I got it.
It's too early for that.
Okay, so remember how I said, like, for me, life is an ice bath? Like, I treat everything in my life, like, for me, it's a lot of, like, the mental resilience. I can't do it because I could do an ice bath. So for me, it's a lot about that, you know, especially in, I know we live in a very comfortable place right now compared to what came before us, definitely. And I'm super grateful. But there's some moments where, you know, there comes like, maybe you cannot do that. And it's like, no, yeah, I can. And I will, because I step into an ice bath. And that's really, something for me.
Oh yes, I really love this image to see every difficulties as an ice bath, because the first time it's scary, but we can do it, and then okay, I can do it again. Oh yes, oh I'm afraid. Oh okay, I can do it again. Really nice. Thank you for the tip.
Oh, glad it helped.
Yeah. I was very fortunate in my early years to. When I qualified as an instructor, I then got asked to do a talk in London in front of 500 people, and I was like, "Whoa, I'm not ready. I've never done this," you know. And I had a lot of support from my family and friends, and they were basically saying you wouldn't have been invited if the universe didn't know that you were already able to do it. So I did exactly what you said. I was like, wow, if I can step into a frozen waterfall, I can definitely stand on stage and talk about the Wim Hof Method. So I did exactly that. Yeah. It's very powerful.
Woo! And you, Paola, about your cycle, since you practice now for many years, did you notice some difference in your cycle?
Yes, I could say that I'm a lot more tuned into my body. I don't want to jinx this, but it's been a long time since, like, it's weird. Like, I don't even, I don't stain my clothes anymore. I'm so connected with my cycle that even if, you know, we all have challenging periods in our lives and stressful, and of course it affects, like, cycle is affected by so many things. We have an episode on this. Like, so many things. It's not just the ice bath. And, like, even though in those moments that it doesn't come that day, I feel my body and I know it's not gonna come. And then when it's coming like 5 days later, it's like, oh, it's coming. So it's more than, it helps a lot with the symptoms, of course. It really helped me regulate it. I've never been that precise. And also, like, I know exactly when it's coming, and I feel that's so powerful, you know, like, yeah. And about everything being an ice bath, in that sense, too, I forgot again, sorry.
What about your memory? Does the Wim Hof Method help for your memory?
It does. I'm just so excited. So many things running into my mind.
And you, Emma, what about your cycle? How do you handle all this?
Yeah, as I said, I think for the first few years, I just ignored my cycle and was just so excited to see a body of water that I went in regardless of my cycle. And then COVID happened, that I slowed things down. And I kind of honored, like, oh, maybe I don't want to go in during day 1 and day 2. Maybe I want to have that duvet day. Maybe I want to have that hibernation. I can afford to not see anybody. I can afford to cancel. I can afford to go and just rest and kind of like feel why am I feeling these a new way, if you like, because the whole world was changing, and there was a lot of I suppose change. I changed from that side. So I then began to experiment with my cycle. I began to do the breath work. There's some squeeze in the breathing, and I felt that when I was on my cycle, on my moon cycle, I then squeezed, because then that would move the blood down and out quicker. So if this is getting too graphic for you, please fast forward. But I feel you are either a woman or have wives or sisters or mothers or whatever. So yeah, I did the squeeze. I was like, yeah, that means that it will be shorter. So I didn't have to endure 5 days. Maybe I can get it over in 3 days. So I was really experimenting with that, and it did. And for someone who lives in a van life, like, the shorter my cycle was, the more beneficial for me. But then after like 3 or 4 months, I realized, so if I share a little story here, the fruit only ripens at the right time, and then it falls from the tree. And I was trying to even manipulate that. So I'm not saying anything against doing the squeeze and retention time, or if you do the power breathing or anything like that. But I'm just definitely more mindful that I actually don't want to interrupt the natural process anymore. So I don't try and rush my periods by getting the blood out as fast as possible. So that was a new awareness, and I feel I had to go through it to figure out how things can change for me. So yeah, I ended up not interfering with the natural cycle. What about
it makes sense. And
yeah. Okay.
What Wim also told us is that we are nature. So why going against nature? So we just need to go back to all these natural things. Nothing complicated. Cold, breath, mindset, and listen what is good for us.
Yeah. But also saying that, I did realize, and I don't know whether any of you can relate, but I did do a cold exposure whilst I was on my cycle. And then I realized I didn't bleed for 6 to 8 hours later. I was like, yes, it's finished. And then during the night, poof, it came like with a vengeance. And I was like, this is so interesting, because even though my mind is out of the danger of fight, freeze, and I was all good and I warmed up after the ice bath, there was my womb telling me I'm really still in the holding on, because maybe it wasn't out of danger, or maybe it was like, stop the bleed because we got to run from one village to another village or whatever. So I just found that really interesting, that I had that 6 hours to 8 hours before I was fully relaxed in order to carry on the flow. I don't know whether you've experienced that at all, but that was a really profound, deep questioning for me. Like, that's why now I prefer not to go in on day 1 or day 2 of my period, because I just want to honor the flow as it is and not kind of tense and hold it back. I might be the only one with this trail of thought.
I never experienced that, because when I started really the Wim Hof Method, I was already in my premenopause phases, so I am not able to talk about this, but it's really interesting what you share.
Yeah.
For me, not during hours, but I've experienced shorter periods, and I never related it to it. Like 2 days, for example. And I was like, oh wow, this is party. But yeah, maybe. And going back to the menopause, I know you've told us the story, but I think it's really enriching to hear it, like, and you talking about natural, not like Wim always telling us to go with the natural, and this is also natural. How did this natural method help you?
Yes, it was really natural. So just listen to my needs, going in the cold shower every day, breathing like you, Emma, maybe not every day, but at least 3-4 times a week. And then when I need an ice bath, and just going through this weird period, like we said in French, lettre à la poste. So it goes really fluently. No symptoms. How do you say, mes humeurs? My mood was really stable, and no hot flushes. I slept good. So for me, it was really helpful. When I see my friends who are struggling a little bit during the night with hot flushes and so on, I try to say that there are natural ways to recover, but it's not always easy to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I refuse to admit that peri exists.
Yes, it exists.
And I've read some numbers that apparently I'm in the peri, and I was like, what?
So am I. Like, I'm 46, I think. I can't remember. But I'm in the thick of peri, apparently. But I refuse, because I really think it's a conditioning from society. Either you are in the menopause or you are not. The peri, because otherwise, as a teenager, you start, and then you have like a few years, and then all of a sudden you're into peri, and then from peri is menopause, and then menopause. And I was like, no, like surely the natural should be a lot longer, and maybe we are a product of what we eat, how we live our lives, more stressed. The pollutions, the toxicity in the world, the Industrial Revolution. Like, I do think that all of that is a contributing factor, and they blame women on peri. And I'm a little pushing back on that, I have a better relationship now with my womb, because I've moved into the cup now. Like, I used to have tampons and then really unaware of when I'm bleeding, and I was like, oh, it's full, I need to change it. But now I can feel when it's happening, and sometimes I don't need anything. I can just go to the toilet, and then that's when it happens, and then I can hold it on, and then I feel, and then I go to the toilet. Like, I don't need anything, and so I'm bleeding with awareness. And that never happened to me before until I switched and during COVID time. So peri, it's not like I hate my womb and it doesn't work for me. I don't feel like that. But I will stress that I don't have children. And maybe this is a contributing factor as well.
Yeah.
And I'm learning to love this part of my body, which I've so badly neglected trying to keep up in a man's world. So, yeah.
So I'm like you, and I have no children too, but I really listen to this body, and I honor this body. Yes.
I don't have children either, so we need to bring a lady with children to tell us her opinion.
That would be the next podcast, so stay tuned. That would be the next podcast. Stay tuned.
And yeah,
That's it.
you didn't hear? Okay. I remember what I was gonna say. It's funny because you were talking about menopause, perimenopause. Not perimenopause. I don't know what is the stage before, or if I'm in it or not. We tend to put everything into boxes, and nature is not like that. Like when you go to the beach, it's not like level 1, level 2, and then it's like, I don't know. I cannot say the word. It's kind of like a continuous. Yeah, like you're saying. So
A journey?
yeah, it's kind of like it's not on boxes. It's
Linear.
It's linear.
It's not linear.
It's not. Yeah, the word will come to me. And so when I heard this talk about temperatures and women and the ice bath, that was what I was gonna say. I didn't finish my thought of everything being an ice bath. Really, for me, it helps that the temperature it's really down, because it's the most I can challenge myself in a mental way. And when I step out of it, as you said it, it's like you feel the queen of the world, so powerful, and it comes with this, mental resilience and so much more than the physical. Yeah.
Okay, so ladies, have we done the round of anything we want to say or no?
I think. What would you say to a woman that is scared by all of the information that's out there about how could they approach the Wim Hof Method? Really. Everybody and everybody. I learned this from Adele, and I love that phrase. But if they want to do it for a specific reason, how does it help? And how can they approach them, especially if they're all in their head, about all of this? Because it's really about tap into that intuition. It's really valuable. So.
Yeah. So I think to do not maybe most of your life or part of your life, you've advocated your voice as someone else. So if you've been listening to someone saying, oh, you shouldn't do that because of this, or you shouldn't do this because of that, I would advise you to try for yourself. and then just see where that goes, because beyond that doorway could be freedom. If I'd listened to other people telling me what to do for my body my entire life, I wouldn't be here now. So find out for yourself as you will start to feel empowered for making decisions for yourself. It can start very gently and humbly, being humble and gradual. So, and to know that it's a combination of a physical, of being in the ice bath, but also a lot of it is mental. You can be a good chess player being a male and female. You can be a good climber being a male and female. So just because Wim Hof is a man, it doesn't mean that it's just for men. I would argue that actually it brings back the feminine energy, and there's a self-inquiry for you to find out how you tick in a really beautiful, non-BS way. Do you know what I mean? Because the mind can lie to you, but being present met in a small hormetic stress, it allows you to focus on different things, and that's a beautiful process. So try it for yourself and then give an opinion.
That was the word gradual.
Yes, gentle, gradual, and for yourself. I think you summarize everything.
I guess. Wow, thank you. What's tomorrow? What do you think about it? Thank you. I would also add, like, the Wim Hof Method, it's not only about the cold, it's also the breathing and the mindset. And especially for those cases where if it's your case, you might feel scared, the mindset really helps. And you can start with that, and then with the breathing, and then at your own pace and time, you could go into the cold. And it's such a complete method with these 3 pillars that, like, it's also flexible on how you can approach it in your own time and in your own way. So it's been a game changer for me, and I would just say, like, take your time, listen to yourself, as you said.
I have nothing to add. I think you said everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.